Las Vegas didn't lose middle-class tourists overnight. What's happening in 2025 is quieter, slower, and far more dangerous for the city than a sudden crash. Families, couples, and repeat visitors aren't announcing boycotts or posting dramatic goodbye videos. They're simply not coming back. And if you talk to locals, hospitality workers, and longtime Vegas regulars, the same explanation keeps surfacing. Vegas stopped feeling worth it. For decades, Las Vegas thrived because it offered something rare in American tourism: the feeling that you could live large without being rich. You could stay in a decent room for under $100, eat well for cheap, gamble without fear, see a major show, and still leave feeling like you got more than you paid for. That value wasn't an accident. Casinos deliberately lost money on rooms, food, drinks, and entertainment because gamblers made up the difference. Middle-class tourists were the engine. They came in massive numbers, stayed multiple nights, and returned year after year. Vegas didn't need everyone to be wealthy, it just needed them to feel welcome. That model is gone. Today's Vegas is built around a completely different assumption: that fewer people spending more money is better than more people spending modestly. Corporate ownership changed everything. When independent operators gave way to massive companies like MGM and Caesars, the city's priorities shifted from guest experience to quarterly earnings. Loss leaders disappeared. Every inch of the resort became a profit center. Parking, Wi-Fi, bottled water, early check-in, pool access, even housekeeping frequency, all monetized. What used to feel like a playground now feels like a transaction. Middle-class tourists feel that immediately, not because they're cheap, but because they remember what Vegas used to offer. A $12 coffee, a $25 bottle of water, a $17 beer, and a $50 resort fee stacked onto a $200 room doesn't feel like luxury. It feels like being squeezed, and the worst part isn't even the prices themselves, it's the constant surprise. Charges appear everywhere, often without warning. What should feel like a carefree escape instead feels like walking through a financial obstacle course. By day 2, many visitors stop enjoying themselves and start doing mental math. That's the psychological breaking point Vegas underestimated. Vacations are supposed to remove stress, but modern Vegas adds it. Every decision comes with a price calculation. Can we afford to eat here? Is this show worth it? Should we gamble or save that money for dinner? Middle-class visitors didn't stop coming because they can't afford Vegas at all. They stopped because Vegas stopped feeling fun relative to cost. When a weekend trip costs as much as a week-long international vacation, people start asking uncomfortable questions, and increasingly they don't like the answers. The experience itself hasn't improved to justify the cost either. In fact, many argue it's gotten worse. Lines are longer, service is slower, rooms are smaller, staff are stretched thin, casinos are louder but less energetic. Cocktail service takes longer if it comes at all. Comps are harder to earn and easier to lose. What guests notice is that they're paying more while receiving less. That's a deadly combination in hospitality. Middle-class tourists are especially sensitive to this because they operate on expectations. They plan, they budget, they remember past trips. When those expectations are violated repeatedly, loyalty disappears. A couple who visited Vegas every 2 years for a decade doesn't need a viral scandal to quit. One disappointing trip is often enough. They go home, tell friends it wasn't worth it anymore, and quietly choose a different destination next time. Another uncomfortable truth Vegas doesn't like to admit is that the city now treats middle-class tourists as expendable. Marketing increasingly targets high rollers and international visitors. The logic is simple. Foreign tourists, especially from Europe and Asia, are used to higher prices and don't carry the same emotional memory of old Vegas. To them, Vegas is still relatively affordable and exotic, but American middle-class travelers compare Vegas to what it used to be, and to alternatives like cruises, all-inclusive resorts, and regional casinos that still offer value. That divide is growing. Domestic visitors feel ignored, international visitors feel prioritized, and while foreign tourism is important, it's also less reliable. Economic shifts, currency changes, and geopolitical issues can slow it overnight. Middle-class American tourists, by contrast, were consistent. They filled rooms midweek. They came in shoulder seasons. They supported restaurants, shows, and smaller casinos. Losing them creates instability that Vegas hasn't fully reckoned with yet. The collateral damage of this shift is already visible on the Strip. Workers feel it first. Dealers see emptier tables. Servers notice fewer tips. Housekeepers get hours cut. Bartenders watch guests nurse one drink instead of ordering rounds. These aren't abstract economic indicators, they're lived experiences. When middle-class tourists pull back, the entire ecosystem suffers. And unlike corporate executives, workers can't offset that loss with higher prices. What makes this moment especially dangerous is that Vegas leadership knows something is wrong, but doesn't want to fully reverse course. Executives have quietly admitted pricing went too far. You can see the evidence in small adjustments: discounted rooms midweek, bundled offers, parking promos, softer resort fees in select cases. But these are tactical tweaks, not a philosophical reset. The core mindset hasn't changed. The city is still trying to extract maximum revenue per visitor instead of rebuilding long-term loyalty. That's why 2025 matters so much. Middle-class tourists aren't protesting Vegas. They're voting with silence. They're choosing not to book, not to return, not to recommend, and once that habit forms, it's incredibly hard to break. Tourism isn't just about attracting new visitors, it's about giving people a reason to come back. Vegas built its empire on repeat business. Losing that quietly is far more dangerous than losing it loudly. The question now isn't whether Vegas can still attract wealthy visitors. It can. The real question is whether a city built on accessibility can survive after abandoning the people who made it successful. If Vegas continues down this path, higher prices, thinner experiences, corporate thinking, it may remain flashy, but it will be hollow. And a hollow Vegas isn't just a different version of the city, it's a fundamentally weaker one. Middle-class tourists aren't gone yet, but they're tired. They feel priced out, disrespected, and overlooked. And if Vegas doesn't remember who built it, not influencers, not whales, not corporations, but regular people chasing a little fun, then the quiet abandonment happening now will turn into something much louder. By the time Vegas hears it clearly, it may already be too late.